All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome into
What's up, everybody?
what will be a
what the fuck do you think is up?
a pretty shitty next 90 minutes.
Fuck!
And a shitty week of thinking about this. So LSU
God
loses
damn it.
to Texas A&M. 38-23 is the final. We are here at Don Juan Cigar Bar. We appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. I imagine that, yeah, man, I imagine the next 90 minutes is really going to suck, and the next week is really going to suck. So.
It's supposed to be a long fucking 90 right now, Matt. Are you sure we don't have any fucking commercial breaks we could go to?
Nope.
Maybe a couple live reads.
They're so.
Fuck, we advertised for 17,000 roofing companies. Surely there's one or two that we could throw out there. Like, what the fuck, dude?
There's
pain, weeping, the gnashing of teeth. Hear the lamentations of my people. We talked about it all week, dude.
What did you talk about all week?
One game that you could not lose in terms of fan happiness, right? Anything else didn't matter. Anything else from this point on did not matter. Bury A&M at 1-7 at the bottom of the SEC, break their program at their lowest moment, enjoy the tears of their people, and instead, Matt, something that I guarantee that we will return to quite often tonight, you give them hope for the offseason. You give them this on which they can make all kinds of mental gymnastics throughout the offseason. And now you're in the position of Tennessee, where you have to somehow reconcile the fact that, okay, you know, objectively at the beginning of the year, you've been super hyped. You've been yada, yada, winning the West, going to Atlanta. I understand all of this, but it does not make the pain any less of blowing it. Thanksgiving weekend, rivalry weekend, the best weekend of college football against the Texas fucking A&M Aggies, the 1-6 entering the game, Texas A&M Aggies, the team that has put up 30 points only one other time this year against Sam fucking Houston. Fuck! Absolutely brutal, dude. Absolutely fucking brutal. Matt, I'll let you take it over. You mentioned, you know, what are some of the worst losses in program history territory?
I need my fucking drink is what I need.
I need a fucking drink as well. Dude, everybody left. All the boys are gone.
Everybody left.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
like normally it's like a party. People are hanging out. We're dapping up.
Bro,
we're getting fucking ham. We've had a great whiskey and wine this year.
It's been a great year.
For it to end with this just fucking dog shit on the shoe of a game. And because that's the worst part, Matt, is that this game is the same way he fucked our defense in College Station tonight, dude.
All right, I think we're back. I think we're back and we're good. Okay. All right, we are at Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center. Been our great host for Whiskey and Wine all throughout the season. We've loved coming here, and it's been a lot of fun, which has brought us a lot of really great moments throughout the year. Unfortunately, this is not one of them. We're going to end this regular season on whatever this thing was in College Station today. We're buffering again. Fuck. Come on, man.
It's been that kind of night, dude. It's been that kind of night. Our internet connection is now the equivalent of what LSU did today.
All right, maybe we're back now. All right, I think we're good now. Are we good now?
I think so. Yeah,
All right. We are. All right, let's just officially start this fucking shit right now from here. All right, we're at Don Juan Cigar Bar. Been a great year. We appreciate that for hosting. Also brought to you by MICHELLI Weighing and Measurement and Capital Partners. We'll tell you more about our great sponsors here as we move throughout the show. we'll take a lot. We can go through the game. I think a lot tonight is more about some big picture shit. The game is really simple. A&M had a great game plan in the first half. You look like you took control in the second half. You allowed the scoop and scored, and you never got off the mat. So, that's the game in a nutshell. We'll go through it a little bit more, but there wasn't a whole lot of good to take out of tonight's ball game. The thing that's going to be most interesting, I guess, is trying to reset after this for next week, knowing you got to go play the number one team in the country. So, that goes one of two ways. You either get your ass up and you realize, hey, man, you're embarrassed. You go make amends and play your dick off and try to win an SEC championship next week.
Well, look,
Or you carry this into next week and you get horribly embarrassed.
Well, the problem is, are you carrying this into next week, or is Georgia a significantly better team than you? LSU has had red flags all season long that came home to roost a bit tonight, and they've kind of been playing over their head in a lot of ways all season long, so I don't know that I have much hope for the Georgia game regardless. But I did have hope for this game. This is an A&M team that seemed as low as it was possible for them to get. An A&M team that was broken, 20 points against UMass, all the losses in a row, but then you get A-Chain back, you get Stewart back, Moose Muhammad balls out, Connor Wigman.
Good. The audio's good, the video sucks. So he'll try to figure out the video component of it, but the audio's good. So I guess, look, we can just start going through the game. We appreciate everybody for being here. We got to do our toast and have a cocktail yet.
Don't have a cocktail. It's a rough night, dude. It's a rough night for everybody. The execution's way off on all fronts. What are you going to do, dude? We're all counting Atlanta. We're all planning our hotels. We're all planning our fucking playoff scenarios, and who lost, and what does that mean for LSU if you beat fucking Georgia?
None of
it doesn't mean fucking shit.
None of it matters
because you just lost to a 1-6 Texas A&M team that's about to finish 4-8 on the season, or does this put them at 5-7?
This puts them at 5-7.
Fuck.
So you don't let me get to do the Texas 4-8 jokes.
God damn it.
All right. Thank y'all for watching. We'll shout some of y'all out. Jonathan Amon.
I am logging the
Andrew
super
Hines,
chats as I do.
Will Benton.
Shout out Buff Bagwell.
Jesus Christ. I just need you to tell me, are we
I'm trying, but it's not working. I don't know.
fucking perfect on this night. Fucking feed sucks shit. We got a fucking landline feed. We can't even fucking, we're just like fucking robots buffering on here. I don't even know, like, fuck it. Let's just do a show.
I say we just do a show.
Let's do a show.
I say we do a show.
Can hear, people can watch them.
Whatever. It's not like many people are going to be going back to listen to this one on Sunday anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's going to try to put this game as far behind them as the Thanksgiving leftovers. Ain't nobody trying to fuck with this game after today anyway, dude.
There's just not a lot to
I mean, we don't got to go through game flow. I think the narrative things are the most interesting here. We talked about it all week. This was the one game in a year full of exceeded expectations. There still laid one pitfall in your way. Like, it didn't matter that you had gone 9-2. It didn't matter that you had won the West. People were going to be fucking pissed if you lost to a Texas A&M team that was broken. And they were broken. And they're their lowest moment. They played the second half against an awful UMass team in front of 200 people. They won 20-7. Jimbo, $86 million buyout, all the talk, the freshman class about to evaporate. You had your foot on their throat. All you had to do was apply pressure and crush the fucking larynx. And instead, you have provided them something that LSU benefited from last year. You provided them hope. The same way that the win against A&M last year was kind of a launching pad for LSU for a modicum of belief heading into the offseason. A&M doesn't even have to deal with a bowl game. They don't even have to deal with losing a Kansas State in the Texas Bowl. They get to enter this offseason being like, look at all of our freshmen. I mean, fucking Wigman, Moose Muhammad, Von A-Chain, like, the fucking freshman class was fantastic. Like we said, this has been an unbelievably bad year for Texas A&M, and they had one out. Like they were waiting for their fucking card on the river. They had one out to keep their chip stack alive, to keep even, again, a modicum of hope. And you just gave them that and then some. I mean, they rushed the field. Jimbo's doing victorious. If I could tell you how interviews on the field afterwards.
Did he do that?
I mean, you know, he's got, I don't know if he said I told you so, right? But he's got, like, you know, he's being interviewed. There's fans all around him. It's a good moment for him, and it should be. I'm not hating on Jimbo for being like, I mean, he's been through a lot of shit this year. For him to do this tonight, that's a fucking massive win for him. And it's a massive win for A&M. And you give them the exact salve on an otherwise disastrous season that you did not need. And the thing is, a lot of what determines an offseason is not even what happened the majority of the season. It's how does it end? And now Texas A&M Sports Radio and our guy Billy Lucci over at Texags, they can spin an entire offseason building mental gymnastics off of this game.
Okay.
Like you basically gave them a golden vault.
All right. I don't give a fuck about Texas A&M tonight. All right, I really don't. I mean, I understand everything you're saying. There's not a single ounce of my fucking soul that gives a shit. I don't fucking care. You're a better program than them, and you have been for 100 fucking years. I don't care about fucking Texas A&M. I don't care about breaking them or any of that shit. Since they have been in the SEC, they have not won a goddamn thing. They had one season with Johnny Manziel where they won a fucking Cotton Bowl, and that's it. They suck ass. They've sucked ass their entire time in the league. I don't give a shit about A&M. Until you win something of significance, I'm not concerned about A&M. My bigger thing is right now when you look at LSU as a program, this is one of those games, like when I talk about balance of power games, like beating Mississippi State even when you're supposed to be bad and they're on the way up. You go on the road in that situation with everything you had on the line and completely shit down your pants. That sucks. Like, that's the bigger concern.
To me, it's the same thing, just framed in a different way, though.
I want to talk, all right? And
yeah, but you're coming after my fucking
point.
No,
I'm making a counterpoint. All right, like you can be.
But we're making the same point.
You can be concerned about A&M. I don't give a shit about A&M. My bigger concern is you lose this game when you had an opportunity to get to 10-2, keep your playoff hopes alive. Everything was there, and great teams, championship teams, take care of business in situations like that. And LSU didn't, and that's a concern. And we could talk about issues like with the roster and what happened, but the bottom line is you were a 10-point road favorite. You were better than that team. You lost to you didn't just lose. You got your ass kicked by a bad football team. Like Texas A&M, I keep hearing all this bullshit about how, but the talents. No, it's not. Like their offensive line's been a fucking sieve.
Disaster.
They're playing a freshman quarterback who sucks ass. Like they're not a good football team.
Well, he's been better than the other quarterbacks. They allow 200
rush yards a game. They're not a good football team. You came out lethargic. They played ball control in the first half and shortened the game. You got back-to-back 3-and-outs to start the second half. You had a touchdown. You put a drive together. You fumble, give them a scoop and score. And it would have been fine if that moment LSU had responded. But in that moment, you fucking laid down and never got your ass off the mat. After the scoop and score, you put together a couple of first downs. You punt. They get the ball score. They're up 2 scores, and you never got closer. Like, that's the bigger concern to me is, like, for a team that's been so resilient all year, right? I mean, hasn't that been the hallmark of what we've talked about this team?
Yes.
You get down to Florida State, you get down to Mississippi State.
And it looked like it was going to be again with the second half, how it started.
But like, that scoop and score came midway through the third quarter. I mean, you had plenty of time to get back in this game and make it a game, and you never did.
No.
So, like, that's the bigger concern for me. Like, look, was Jaden Daniels hurt after, like, late in the game? Yeah, it was his ankle. They taped it up. We could talk about where was Harold Perkins tonight. I'm sure Brian Kelly will give us some explanation. He was basically a non-factor. You know, was on the field early, wasn't on the field for, maybe he got hurt.
Well, they did a good job of containing him, man. He wasn't making the plays that he made normally. Like, when he was coming around on those twists, he was getting picked up by the guard. Like, they're like on that 3rd and 7 when Connor Wegman in the red zone ran for that big first down right before half.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, we have seen Harold Perkins looping around in that exact situation. The guard doesn't pick him up, and Harold Perkins makes the play. What happens this game? Texas A&M's offensive line, which has been shit, fucking makes the play. They block him, and the next thing you know, first down, and then an eventual touchdown.
I mean, look, this, we could talk. I want to circle back, though, and talk about context of this loss because, I mean, we can talk about, like, the 2007 loss to Arkansas. I mean, it's a little different because you were number 1 in the country when you lost that game, right?
It's definitely not as disappointing, but this was the only pitfall that you had left.
No doubt. It's a game that and it's a game you should have won, and it didn't work out for you. And so now, dude, you look at this and you go, all right, you're 9-3. If you lose to Georgia next week, and you're going to be a big underdog, you're 9-4. And then if you lose your bowl game, you're 9-5. And all of a sudden, this season, which going into the final regular season weekend looked magical, looks actually pretty shitty. And I'm going to tell you the other thing that happened tonight with this loss is you probably played your way out of a New Year's Six unless if you beat Georgia and go to the Sugar Bowl as the SEC champion. Because if you're a 4-loss team after next week,
yeah, you're probably looking at the Cotton Bowl or something like that. Or no, that's a New Year's Six. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
like Tennessee and Alabama will be in the, like, Alabama will likely go to whichever one's ranked higher, Tennessee or Bama. Likely Bama. Bama would go to the Sugar and Tennessee would go to the Orange, and you're probably going to the Capital One Bowl, like, to take on a shitty Big Ten team. I mean, you'll go play Iowa in the Capital One Bowl? That's probably what you're looking at if you lose next week.
At least maybe get to 10 wins.
I mean, it's just so disappointing, man. It's just.
I mean, Matt, you might know off the top of your head. We did it earlier, and I don't want to misspeak, but I'm pretty sure it was 9. I think LSU's had 9 10-win regular seasons in school history in over 100 years of football. Maybe it's at 10 or 11. It's somewhere 9 through 11. The point is, it's rare. It's 1 out of 10 times. And you were 6-1 in the SEC, playing a 1-6 team that has been awful all year long, and you had the chance to push yourself to 10-2 into the SEC championship, into New Year's Six, everything you're talking about, and you didn't lose a tough one. You got embarrassed. You got ran off the field. You let Devon A-Chain run you over, and again, you frame it as balance of power. And I frame it as A&M. I think the things are one and the same, right? In a balance of power situation, you had the chance to break their spirit before this offseason and maybe even lead to more transfers, to more drama, to more frustration. If you go into College Station, you fucking embarrass them tonight. Instead, you now give them juice to try to salvage what was an awful season. And in terms of long-term balance of power, I think there is a direct payoff from Texas A&M for this game. And that's why this hurts so bad. And it's not that it's wholly unexpected because, like, LSU's been a bit sketchy this year. Like, they were probably one of the most improbable 9-2 teams that you will ever watch, and you saw that tonight. A&M had a great game plan. I mean, they said, look, we got A-Chain back, who has not been playing for a little bit, which made A&M look worse than they were. We got A-Chain back. We are going to rely on him. We're going to use him and his ability and our offensive line's ability against a low-depth LSU defensive line, which credit to them. They've been playing over their head the entire year. Tonight they got. But we're going to bank on A-Chain getting enough, get to third and manageable, and then through that running game, we're going to put our freshman quarterback, Connor Wigman, in some very easy positions. And he is good enough where he can make those easy throws. And that's exactly what he did. And when you get on the other side of it, they've dominated you and they win. Just an absolutely brutal night.
A-Chain had 38 carries for 215 tonight. 38 for 215.
He had like 150 in the first half.
Brutal. I mean, this is a team, an A&M team that is, like, I can't stress it enough. They're not a good football team. Like, it's like I expected this game to look like this in reverse. Like, I expected a 38-23 type game.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
400 and for whatever yards. So, like, that, what A&M did to LSU, I just expected that in reverse. I thought it would be a very comfortable game where we were not really stressed. LSU pressured them on both lines of scrimmage because they were just a better football team. You had a veteran quarterback. They had a freshman. You had a lot to play for. Their season's over. And the exact opposite. I mean, it was just a complete role reversal tonight. That's gutting, man. It's gutting to lose the way that LSU did tonight. Not just to lose the game, but to be, like, just so completely
outclassed.
Yeah, you were dominated.
I mean, dominated in the trenches, offensively, while you were moving the ball well the entire night, Matt. They were basically telling you, we don't think you're that good. We're going to force you to play underneath us, and you will make mistakes. And they did that. They had the fumble on 3rd and 1. They obviously had the. I mean, Jaden Daniels could not push the ball downfield all night. He was unwilling to push the ball downfield. They were playing coverage, spying him. It looked similar to the same sort of confusion that he had against Arkansas, that he had against Auburn, and you just felt very unthreatening offensively all night long.
The shame of it is that John Emery looked awesome tonight.
Yeah, he did look really good.
He had season highs in attempts and yardage. He had 9 carries for 55 yards, averaged 6 yards a carry. You just didn't get him the ball enough. I mean, they're like when LSU tied it. So to start the second half, you hold the 3 and out, you go down and you score the touchdown to tie it at 17, and that was John Emery's 19-yard run. Right? I mean, he busted the hole, made 1 cut, jab, stepping down,
and it was a great blocking.
Yeah. So you're tied at 17, and then you come back out there, and fucking Noah Cain carries for 6 yards. You toss to Cain, and then on 3rd and 1 you fumble. Like,
and
why?
And I get that, like, it's tough, man. When you're a quarterback running the zone read, it's impossible to make 100% correct decisions.
Thank you.
Can I get a mezcal, Laurel? Thank you. It's tough to make 100% correct decisions, Matt, but if you would have handed that ball, you had the first down and then some, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, it was, you had about 8, 10, 15 yards, dude.
That's brutal, bro. It's
a lot of people saying Sage Ryan is bad luck. Jarek Bernard Converse goes down. That ends up costing you.
Tonight?
Well, I mean, if that's Sage Ryan in those positions instead of him, you assume it's a big deal.
Well, they kicked Jay Ward out as well.
Now, the upsetting part about Sage Ryan is that he actually had incredible coverage. And this is where on both. Yeah. All right? This is where you have to give credit to your opponent. And you may not want to admit it, and this is where I get to a bit of the mental gymnastics that A&M fans will look to build a foundation on throughout the offseason. But, like, Moose Muhammad, as a true freshman, Matt, made massive plays.
I think
that touchdown.
I think Moose is a sophomore.
Okay. As a young player. That's fair. That's fair. But like, as a young player looking forward to the future, when you're a bad team, like if you're watching the Saints right now, what are you looking for? You're looking for pieces to carry forward. Moose Muhammad fucking holding him off one hand, catching it with his other in the end zone, the big 3rd down. Like, these were really impressive catches where Sage Ryan was actually not – he was actually in great position, but he just got outplayed.
Did you get your mezcal?
That fucking sucks.
Let's at least do our toast. This is customary, and we do appreciate everybody. So, look, and by the way, real quick, okay, to Don Juan for having us, to everybody who's watched us all year, we appreciate it so much. To MICHELLI, to Capital Partners tonight, I know Pluckers, GoFlow has been a sponsor as well. We appreciate everybody. And for T-Bob, who's not going to be part of Whiskey and Wine for the SC Championship.
No, such a bummer, dude.
I know, but the great news is you're going to be a dad ×3 on Friday.
Yep, so next Friday.
So
6 days, final countdown, boys.
So a toast also to the growing Abear family,
to you mom
and to Caitlin,
and baby make it through, and we're all good, dude.
That everybody's safe and healthy. So cheers, everybody. We can't. I thought you were going to glug.
No, I can't glug this, dude. This is straight mezcal right here.
You've done it before.
I have done it before, but it's when I was on a win and I was fucking ecstatic. Not when I feel like somebody cut my dick off and then salted the wound.
I think, look, man, there's going to be a time to look at the season in total, and we're going to look at a win against Alabama. And
yes, we should. We're 2-2 against Alabama the last 4 years.
There's going to be a lot that you take away from this season that's exciting, man. You won the SEC West. You're going back to Atlanta. I mean, there are going to be good things that we think about, but in the immediacy, it's just hard to focus on them.
Well, Matt,
because it's just like you had so much more potentially on your plate and it's gone.
I mean, are we not? I mean, that's where I get to. We are going through the exact thing that I kind of clown Tennessee fans on, where objectively, now did Tennessee win tonight? They fucked up Vanderbilt, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so objectively,
I'll get you a final.
A Tennessee fan should be ecstatic about this year, right? Like. They have won, Matt. Tennessee had won 33% of their SEC games the past 14 years. They went 6-2 this year. Like they played so far above their head. But
56-0.
Okay, so but
come on, Vandy.
But because they were minus 500 odds to make the playoffs, and all they had to do was beat Spencer Rattler, which shout out Spencer Rattler,
how about that
put together
tonight?
The best 2 wins in school history back to back.
But, like, because they had then gotten there where they're like, oh, no, we're making the playoff. Like, it's guaranteed. Like, if I bet money, I can't even make money right now. Their expectations shifted. In the same way, after the Florida State game, if I told you you'd be 9-3 and win the West, you would have been ecstatic.
Yeah.
But it's hard to swallow that today. And that is a level of nuance again, that, like you said, can only be engaged in over time. And honestly, Matt, can only be really enjoyed if you build upon this, right? Like, this can't be the high watermark now. Now you have to go and try to do this again, and yada, yada, yada. It's just, like we said, man, it was the last pitfall. It was the last fucking pitfall. Any other game you could have lost, even the bowl game. Lose to Georgia, losing to New Year's Six, it would have sucked. Yeah, the New Year's Six probably would have sucked, but you could have lost him. This was the one that you had to have. You fucking hate A&M. You've had a rivalry that was created in a very corporate manner, but actually worked, right? Has actually got a lot of juice here. These first few years of the kind of rebirth of this rivalry, this first decade. And look, we got a huge LSU fan base in Houston. Biggest alumni base in the country, I believe, is in Houston. Surrounded.
Outside of Louisiana, yeah.
Yeah, outside of Louisiana, surrounded by A&M fans. They want this. They needed this. We needed this. Recruiting, everything. I mean, it's just, it was the one final pitfall, and it's not just that you lost, but you failed miserably, and you just got dominated, embarrassed, out-toughed, beaten the trenches, out-coached every single step of the way. I mean, Jimbo, an offensive coordinator that has looked hapless, that has looked like Henry Winkler from The Waterboy, looking from his fucking magical notebook with his hat tilted and his fucking grandma glasses hanging on the bridge of his nose as he rifles through papers trying to fucking find the right play, something that we made fun of all weekend long. And now that man put together a game plan that perfectly handled you defensively. And then DJ Durkin, obviously on his side of the ball, did as well. So, yeah, you got out-coached. You got outplayed by a team that was 1-6 in the SEC. And, again, you were 6-1 in the SEC.
Stacey Roderick said we never beat A&M on the road. That's not true. That's I mean, LSU won there.
I get what he's getting at. College Station's a hard place to play,
LSU
but
won
this
there
is a bad
in 12
team.
and 14
and
16.
Yeah.
Lost there in 18. Oh, I guess, and was 20 there or here?
20 was in LSU. No. 20 would have been there, right? Because 21 was here. Yeah. That makes sense. I feel like 20 was at home, but 20 was there because it was 20-7, and then we won on the Dre Jenkins touchdown last year.
Here, yeah.
But again, that Dre Jenkins touchdown, Matt, that was the same deal.
So that's 3 straight losses in College Station. After 3 straight wins when they got into the league, LSU's lost 3 straight there now.
Yeah.
18, 20, and 22, yeah.
But is that not the exact same deal? Whereas, was that not a wonderful salve? Do you remember Whiskey and Wine when Dre Jenkins called that touchdown?
Yeah.
And even though you're 6-6, everybody's ecstatic. Everybody's going crazy. It felt so good.
It's good to laugh at them.
You push A&M to 8-4. You get to laugh at them, and now all that fell apart, dude, and you're on the other side of that equation.
Let's get to a lot of your questions and comments. Y'all fire away. We are Don Juan Cigar Bar. Of course, great spot for the holidays if you need gift cards. The cigar company, the retail shop is next door.
Probably get the sponsors.
And absolutely. And MICHELLI Weighing and Measurement, MICHELLI.com. MICHELLI's been awesome. They've sponsored one half of Whiskey and Wine the whole season, so we appreciate Joel McMullen and the gang over at MICHELLI so much. Even if you're listening outside of Louisiana, they got offices in 29 offices across 11 states. So from Florida and Louisiana and Texas all the way to like California, Oregon, Arizona. So check them out online. They are hiring as well. So you could go to MICHELLI.com, hit the careers tab, and apply online.
Yeah, and look, you can also hit up Capital Partners Lobbying Firm, the best lobbying firm on planet Earth. Imagine that. It's right here in Baton Rouge. But look, in all seriousness, if you need lobbying, government relations, they are focused on Louisiana first. If you're somebody who enjoys medical or other things like that, they're the people that have helped make that happen. They're a unique, full-service firm, okay? And whether you're looking for new media strategies, right, in the ever-evolving landscape, government affairs, political campaigns, public relations, advocacy, communications, again, Capital Partners Lobbying Firm is for you. They are for Louisiana. Capital Partners, cannot recommend them enough.
A couple things on tonight's ball game. We didn't see Josh Williams, which was disappointing, man. I don't think that cost you the game. I mean, he's obviously been your best running back.
He's clearly your best back.
But it hurt not having him in there, I think. Just one more weapon. And I'll tell you, man, I don't want to put it all on one play or anything like that, but, man, I'm going to tell you, boy, the way the game started, you got the ball and punted. They scored a touchdown. You answered with a touchdown. You held them to a field goal, and then you had a chance to answer and take the lead, and you had a 3rd and 2.
Kyron Lacy had 2 brutal drops.
It's like at their 16-yard line.
And it was wide open, beautiful play call.
Damn,
you could score. You get within the 10. You're going to go up 14-10 at that point. And that's also off of the original Kyron Lacy drop, which I feel bad because Kyron Lacy's been good all season. But he has the first 3rd down drop where I think he would have gotten the first down.
The ball was high. I couldn't tell if
it's not as bad as egregious as the second one, for sure. But I mean, I still think you should catch the ball. But you missed that, and you're kind of rolling. You'd already gotten a first down. A&M goes 15 plays, 90 yards, 8 minutes, immediately sets the tone for the game. And then after that, for Lacy to then drop that 3rd and 2, it's just a really rough night for number 2.
I mean, there were just a couple of moments like that where you kept waiting for the momentum of the game to swing back your way. That Lacy drop was one where you had an opportunity. We talked about what happened at the start of the second half.
Yeah, it did swing back your way
you
then.
force the 3 and out, you tie the game, you get another 3 and out, then the scoop and score. But, man, even after the scoop and score, I'm looking at now, you got 3 first downs. I mean, you were going right. You got down to you were at their 37-yard line. You got to their 37, then you had the Jaden Daniels 8-yard run, but they had the holding on Emory Jones. No, I'm sorry. That was the possession. Yeah, that was the possession after the scoop and score. So, I mean, you were down. You were driving again. You had the holding, then you had a 3rd and 16. That's whenever he had the incomplete pass to Besh. Where he stepped up in. It almost looked like the Justin Jefferson 3rd and 17. He kind of stepped up and threw it over the middle, and he just left it a little short.
And if he had put it on, it's a tough throw. But if he had put it on, he was open.
It's a first down. I mean, there were just moments like that where.
You looked like the team. Am I wrong? Did you not look like the team that you did against Auburn and Arkansas? Like the same way that Jaden Daniels hitting his back foot and looking pretty confused, or if it was coming out in rhythm, it was all very short attacking stuff. Like A&M did a great job making you play underneath, and then when you got the ball to your playmakers, you have to credit A&M. They made the tackles.
You know what?
Almost no missed tackles for A&M tonight.
A&M tackled really well for sure. The thing that with the Auburn game, remember, you got the defensive score and then scored right before half. Remember?
Yeah.
But then what did LSU do in the second half of that game?
Well, they
fucking ran the piss out of the ball.
Yeah, they went super conservative.
They just ran the piss and ran right over Auburn. That's the thing. Like, A&M was giving up 200 rush yards a game, like 220 a game. It's like that's the thing that really perplexed me, man.
But that's where it gets weird. Like, if you hand that 3rd and 1, and this is the butterfly effect, you hand that 3rd and 1, like you said, they're a bad team defending the run. You had it clearly blocked. He gets 10 yards, first down, momentum's your way, and instead everything fucking shifts just off of just a split-second decision to pull.
Yeah. Jaden got hurt as well. When LSU went down the field very quickly, 6 plays, 75 yards, when they were down 21 to make it 38-23. And they went for 2, and a lot of people, I didn't know why they would go for 2. The only explanation that I heard that maybe is even plausible is if you get the 2-point conversion there and A&M kicks a field goal, it's still a 2-score game. You'd be down 16. So
I mean that does make sense. And independently of whoever you texted, I did text one of my buddies who coaches, and he did say that the accepted theory is that if you're down 14 with less than 10 minutes left, that you go for 2. I think for that exact reason.
So,
for whatever that is worth. Now, if Jaden had gotten actually seriously hurt, which maybe he did, it remains to be seen, then obviously that play takes on an entirely different tenor.
He came back.
He came back. So I don't know. We'll see, right? But he's hit a deal where he came back, and then it's going to be something nagging. We'll see. But outside of a Jaden Daniels injury, while that 2-point conversion or 2-point attempt is very frustrating, at least there is some logic behind it, and it's also not at all why you lost the game.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't mean anything to the actual loss.
Look, man, I mean, we can look ahead a little bit also to the SEC championship game where if Jaden's dealing with a sprained ankle, look, he's going to play in that game. I mean, he'll tape it up. He'll stay off it this week. Get a bunch of treatment.
Y'all got to chill with this nuss bus shit in the chat, dude.
Are they serious, or is that just a
joke? No. There's a lot of it, dude. There's a lot of people who have obviously been fading Jaden Daniels all year long and now are using this as the launching pad for being like, I fucking told you Jaden wasn't the guy.
Yeah, those people suck shit.
Jaden didn't
Like, you
allow
suck shit.
Devon
Like-
A-Chain to run for 200 yards tonight. Like, I get it. Jaden may have made mistakes, but Jaden is the only reason you were 9-2 in the first place. Like, the same way that you needed the defense to stack them up against Arkansas to win you that game, championship teams have other facets of the team step up in the biggest moments. And tonight, a defense that has done it all year long, Matt. A defense that has really done it all year long. Like, Matt House has been fantastic, even going into half. If there was one thing that you felt good about, it was Matt House adjustments, and it felt good coming out of the second half, and it just fell short. But no, I mean, I'm not bailing on Jaden Daniels, dude. Now, certainly, I think if you watch this film, Matt, he looked very confused looking downfield, and I'm sure that there were open throws to be made. And that's something that we've seen maybe happen a bit too much now, is when teams drop into zone coverage and rush 3 or 4, but still kind of spy him with 2 middle linebackers that are playing like a hybrid zone spy sort of situation. It's kind of been LSU's big Achilles heel the entire year, and that's something that they got to work on going into next year for sure.
For A&M coming into tonight was 32% on third down for the year.
And I don't know where they finished. They started 7 of 8.
They were 7 of 8 in the first half. And for the game, they finished 10 of 15.
And but again, that's a credit to their game plan. Because what was every first down that they got in that first half? It was 3rd and 1. Now, they eventually pulled off some bullshit like the 3rd and 7 where Wigman scrambles in the red zone.
Like 3rd and 12.
They got a couple big ones. But for the most part, they were doing a really good job of putting themselves into 3rd and manageable situations.
I mean, they converted, let's see, in the first
Guys,
half.
and also, I'm not saying that Jaden played great, okay? But my point is, like,
he didn't cost you the game tonight.
He didn't cost you the game. And if your point is that Jaden Daniels, like, it's time to make a switch, no, I think you're sorely wrong. Like, without Jaden Daniels tonight, you don't do shit.
Your defense tonight gave up 31 points and 429 yards. You allowed Devon A.
And
Chain
what were
to
they
run for
averaging?
215.
Okay, hold on. So 31. How much did you say?
A&M's offense scored 31.
Yeah.
Because they had the defensive score. They had 31 points and 429 yards of offense in the ballgame.
429. And I hope these stats aren't updated yet because I want to see what they were averaging coming into this game. They were averaging 21 points a game, Matt. And they were averaging
225 in the air and 129 on the ground.
Ugh.
They were averaging 350 yards a game of offense.
Harold Perkins was nowhere to be found. The defensive line, you know what's funny, Matt? You got to credit A&M's offensive line, the depth issues of the defensive line, which they had somehow kind of outplayed and out-schemed the entire year. It came home to roost tonight. A&M identified on film what they perceived to be a weakness. That with A-Chain in this offensive line, they could rely on inside zone to build the foundation for this game plan and make things easy for Wigman, and they did just that.
If you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much. Do us a solid, smash that like button. I know that the feed's buffering. I don't know that we have anything we could do about it. I think the audio's good, but and if you're on Facebook, please like the 104.5 ESPN page and share the post as well. We'll have we do always post an audio podcast version as well. So people, if you're watching, you don't feel like fooling with the choppy video, we will have an audio only version for you up as well. Do you want to look ahead to next week at all, or do you want to talk any more about this game? I mean, we can talk.
We go to questions.
Yeah, if you got questions about the game, sure, go ahead.
All right, I'll get to the super chats, and then if you put hashtag whiskey and wine, I'll get to your questions as well. We had a $10 super chat from Reed Rule. Says, Matt House, too busy looking at head coaching jobs on LinkedIn to bother coaching tonight. Clown.
Come on, Reed. I can guarantee you Matt House is not leaving LSU after this year. I mean, he has head coaching ambitions. It's why he came back to college, and he's going to be a head coach, but not after this year. And tonight has nothing to do with that. Plus, his family's not moving again after 1 year.
No, and I mean, you got out coach, man. It happens. I mean, we like to think of everybody as being invincible, but it's the classic NFL. Those guys get paid too.
And Matt House has been fantastic all year long. In fact, Matt, he's overcome a lot of roster deficiencies, I think, all year long. And tonight they couldn't do it. USMC Mike, thank you for your service. $20 super chat. Last game here in North Carolina, retiring. And I will be back home in Baton Rouge next year. Looking forward to watching some games at Tiger Stadium game. Hell yeah, Mike. Welcome back, dude. Alex Corville gave a $20 super chat. Ryan Calais with a $20 super chat says, Matt, we should put Harold Perkins as running back. And then he gave a lot of crying emojis, so he is joking there.
Good.
Lamar Stevens with a $5 super chat. So, does it completely kill the goodwill and positivity if we get smoked in the SEC Championship and lose to Notre Dame in the Motor City Bowl?
You know what?
That would be a drastically bad turn of events.
So you know it could happen. Well, Notre Dame's losing tonight, right?
I think so.
Is it over? Is it because I don't know that anybody really cares about this, but I'll explain it. The way that the bowl scenarios work.
We got time.
Yeah. Well, the way the bowl scenarios are.
I should be yelling about fucking shit
Let's
and
go beat
fuck
Georgia
and all of this. This should be explaining away, get our ass kicked by a fucking 1-6 Texas A&M team. Anyway, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh, so the way the Orange Bowl bids work is the ACC champion goes. So Clemson lost today, South Carolina, so they're out of the playoff mix. So
Shout out Cox.
The winner of next week's ACC championship game will play in the Orange Bowl. So that will be either Clemson or North Carolina. They will play either a team from the Big Ten, the SEC, or Notre Dame. Well, the only two teams in the Big Ten that really had a shot coming into this were Michigan and Ohio State. Well, one of them is going to go to the playoff, and the other likely goes to the Rose Bowl, right? So you could look at Penn State as a potential slot in the Orange Bowl, unless if Notre Dame won tonight and was ranked more highly, then the Orange Bowl could take Notre Dame. So I don't think – let me see if that game is final. It's 38-20. It is final. Okay, so 38-27, USC beat Notre Dame. So Notre Dame's is 8-4, so they're obviously not going to be in the Orange Bowl. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about playing Notre Dame, unless if you play Notre Dame potentially in the Citrus Bowl.
Let's shift the question then into does it completely kill the goodwill and positivity if you lose this, you lose Georgia, and then you lose the bowl game?
Then you're a 9-5 football team. You know what it would remind me of, honestly? So 2002
A&M when they beat Alabama, then went 8-4.
No, 2002 LSU had a similar season. Lost the Virginia Tech opener, or was it the opener or was it the second week? They played Virginia Tech on a Sunday. I think it was to open the season. It might have been the second week, but I don't remember. And they got blown up by Bama, who was ineligible. But LSU, because Bama was ineligible, went into the final weekend with a chance, if they beat Arkansas, to play in the SEC Championship in consecutive years because they won it in 01. And they lost Arkansas in the Miracle on Markham with Corey Birmingham, and I was sitting at the goal line.
I was so pissed at my dad. I started crying and yelling at him because he was like, "It's not over yet." And me and my grandpa were like, "Fuck you, it's over, dude." And then they won. And I remember I was fucking salty.
I think Matt Jones.
I do need a hug, Gandalf.
I think he had like 6 completions in the game.
Yeah, Matt Jones fell forward for like 8 yards every fucking play that night.
No, maybe it wasn't Jones. Maybe it was Casey Dick. Anyway,
Matt Jones had a giant dick. Go watch a Matt Jones 40 at the Combine and watch this thing just slopping around as he's running the 40. I was like, God damn, Matt. Okay, bro.
He also, wasn't he like cutting up blow with a credit card?
Yeah, he got a little bit into the booger sugar. Hey, but Matt Jones is so athletic. He played wide receiver in the NFL. That's some big dog shit right there.
Anyway, so in that season, LSU lost that game, and then, which if they had won it, they're going to Atlanta. Instead, they lose that game, and they lose to Texas in the Cotton Bowl, and they ended up going like 8-5. So you were
the Roy Williams Cotton Bowl game. Son of a bitch.
You were a win away from going to Atlanta and playing Georgia, and instead you go to the Cotton Bowl, lose. You end up 8-5. But the next year LSU won the Natty.
No, I mean, but Matt, that's the perspective thing. It's what we always talk about in football. The objective results are not what decides happiness level. It's where does it land in relation to expectation. And preseason, we would have been fucking ecstatic. But, again, when you're a chance for a 10-win regular season for what, like the 9th, 10th, or 11th time in school history, and you're going against a 1-6 Texas A&M team that has not just been bad, but has been awful, that put up 20 points against UMass. You said the offense scored 31 tonight. A&M scored 30 in one other game this season, and that's including defensive touchdowns, and it was against Sam Houston. And you got fucking run up on. And yes, Devon Achane may not have been available later in the season, but he was available early on, and they weren't doing shit. So no, I mean, you cannot put lipstick on this pig. Like, I get it that yes, objectively, it's a great year one for Brian Kelly, and it is a really good year to build off of. But this significantly kneecaps, which could have been just a way beyond expectation year.
You know what? There was one other thing, because someone just mentioned the Emory Jones penalty, which did take away a first down in a big spot. It was 24-17, and you were trying to go tie the ball game after the fumble. And so that did take away what would have been a first down. The other one was at the end of the first half.
Well, we have a super chat on the so Jason Champagne says, I have no comment on lousy officiating, so we can get into calls.
The other one was, and I'm never the guy that says you lost because of a call. Like, the Saints didn't lose the Nola no call because of that call. Like, you had 59 minutes in the game to try to do something different, and you had the ball first in overtime. Like, that's not why. It was a shitty call, and if it goes your way, you're in the Super Bowl. But that's not the reason you lost. So I'm not saying this is why LSU lost, but even still, right before half, they were putting together a drive, and it looked like they were going to get a PI that would have put the ball at the.
I have no idea why that PI was picked up. Dude.
LSU would have had the ball at the A&M 33-yard line after that PI when they picked up the flag. So. And you were, but there was plays the game like the touchdown at the end to Jure. Like, I don't know if that. I mean, the call stood, but the thing is, man, like,
at least they didn't say confirmed.
He caught the ball, he had a foot in bounds, and then another foot landed. He goes to the ground, and like in college, you don't have to survive the ground like you do in the NFL. So the rule's a little bit different. I don't know why that wasn't a touchdown. I just don't know what's a catch. Like, it's so perplexing. You know, what's a catch, what's not. I mean. I objectively saw him possess the ball with a foot in bounds. Like, if that's not in the end zone, if that's on the sideline, it's a catch. But it's not a catch because it's in the end zone.
Shout out to your guy, Daniel Kirkmaz. Yeah, I feel you on that, dude. Daniel Kirkmaz has been a loyal whiskey and wine man all year long with a $210 super chat. Daniel Kirkmaz, who normally does not offer any comment, says, a great year, boys. It has been, but it doesn't feel like that tonight, man. That's what fucking sucks about this, man.
This will dissipate in time. I mean, it's look. I remember in 2007 when LSU lost that Arkansas game, because you were the #1 team in the country, and you knew if you beat Arkansas at home, and it was senior night for guys like Dorsey and Hester and all those guys.
That was way worse.
And it's like,
than this.
if you win that game, you're in the national championship game. And so you lost that, and it felt like you lost an opportunity to play for a championship. Now, a bunch of wackadoo shit happened that fell your way, and you end up winning it anyway. But, like, in that moment, that was the worst loss in LSU history. I mean, like, I could tell you what are the worst. The worst losses are the ones that cost you championships. So, like, no one ever talks about this one, but in 1959, you know what happened the week after Billy Cannon's Halloween run?
I do not.
The week after Billy Cannon's Halloween run, LSU went to Knoxville and lost to Tennessee. And Cannon swears to the day he died that there was a play at the goal line where it says he scored. They ruled him short, and LSU lost to Tennessee the week after beating Ole Miss 7-3.
Where the fuck was the instant replay?
But if they win that game, they win the Natty. And look, LSU lost the Sugar Bowl that year at the Ole Miss in a rematch, but the national championship was declared before the bowls. So, like, LSU would have been a back-to-back national champion had they beaten Tennessee. So that one, the 2007 game, obviously against Arkansas, but that ended up going LSU's way. And then January 9th, 2012, which everybody talks about. I mean, those are the worst. Those are the worst days, and then I would also throw the Yeldon screen as well because
that ended up costing you by extension trip to Atlanta, potential SC or potential Natty.
Like your only loss would have been the hammer and nail game to loss to Florida, and you would have played for you would have been playing Notre Dame for the national championship that year instead of Alabama. So anyway,
and so from a stake standpoint, okay, yes, from a little perspective here in this holiday season, it's not that.
It's not costing you a natty. I didn't think you were beating Georgia ever before this.
Yeah.
I still don't think you're beating Georgia.
It'd be great if you do, though. Jesus.
No, I mean, well, that now, Matt, the same way that I've talked about A&M being a salve the entire now, Georgia would be the ultimate salve. Are you fucking kidding me?
It's a go
You
for
go
broke.
beat Georgia and Atlanta, then nothing fucking matters. Then fuck A&M, then nothing matters. But that's just a point I can't even get myself to when I've seen how demonstrably weak this offense can be at times. And then you look at that Georgia defense, I just don't even know how to start to do the strategic, moving of the chess pieces to how you end up winning that game.
Well, I mean, look, if we want to talk a little bit about Georgia, I mean.
I got questions. We can go to that.
Okay,
It's whatever
good.
you want.
Good.
You want to go to questions?
Yeah, good.
All right. Dax Jeter, hashtag Whiskey Wine. Can you all discuss how bad this team has been on the road all season?
I will say one of my core beliefs that I talk about a lot is it's fucking hard to win on the road in the SEC. I mean, you played on the road in the SEC. I don't need to tell you that, but
No, but I do overlook
hard.
it. I overlook it on this side of the equation a
hard.
lot of times, dude.
that's why. I mean, when
I
LSU
overlook it a lot of times. I get cocky and you're feeling good and A&M shit, but you knew College Station was going to be lit tonight, and look, it paid dividends, dude.
I mean,
And you fucking that stadium was ready to have their will broken after the 17-17 tie in the back-to-back 3-and-outs, and you gave them everything they fucking needed on that scoop and score.
I won't tell you who, but I got a text from a Texas A&M media member who said, who texted me and said,
Fuck you, Billy Lucci!
It was not Billy Lucci.
Okay, I have to make sure.
Who said,
Son of a bitch!
and this is an A&M person who's in the media, who said, Tigers win comfortably if Jaden doesn't fumble. I mean, that was their mindset. So just to your point, that's one person's opinion. I would probably agree with it as well because it felt like everything was going in that direction.
Oh, the state, it's a brittle culture.
Yes,
it's a brittle
yes.
team. They can break under pressure, and instead,
to your point,
you reinforced it.
That's what they were expecting. That was
Yeah.
from that was the expectation in that moment. If Jaden doesn't fumble, because they've seen it before, right? They've seen the things unravel.
Yeah.
And LSU had gone back-to-back 3-and-outs. The defense had gotten it tried. The offense scored on the opening possession of the second half. You felt like, John Emery was running good.
Shit, Matt, their only other SEC win came because of a similar insane play.
It's true, against Arkansas.
The Arkansas win only came because of that wild lateral KJ Jefferson fumble on the one.
Right before, for those who don't remember, right before half, KJ Jefferson fumbled at the 1-yard line, and A&M returned it 99 yards for a touchdown. Arkansas probably puts that game away if KJ scores.
Not even probably, 100%. I get that I can't say that, but I believe that. I believe that in my heart. I don't know if I believe that LSU wins the game tonight if they get that 3rd and 1, but I believe that Arkansas wins that game.
I know there's some people who maybe just jumped aboard and talking about the stream. We know the stream is lagging. The audio, I know the audio is good, and the video is terrible, and we apologize for that. Don't know what's going on, but you can listen or just wait for tomorrow when the podcast version, you can just listen to the podcast. So we're here at Don Juan, which is a great place. When you're here live in person, you don't have choppy feeds. You're here in the cigar bar with great
Feels
TVs
juicy. This is hashtag Whiskey Wine. Is Jimbo the new Gus Malzahn? Be horrible all season and win the last game, be praised.
I don't think that's going to stand over there in old College Station, man.
Everybody's still getting fired underneath Jimbo. I still do believe that. They still think that. They still think and know. I think that changes need to happen. But again, you have given them validation of their freshman class, whereas before this there was none to be had. But now with Wigman and Achane, everybody else, you've given them validation of the talent they've recruited over the last few years. And no. Yes, we have fucked up this year horribly badly, but at the end of the day, we can still compete with the number 5 team in the nation, and that is something to build upon if you make changes underneath Jimbo. So, no, I don't think the Gus Malzahn analogy makes a lot of direct sense, but this does not hurt Jimbo at all, right? You had a chance to make it a miserable offseason for them, and instead you have given Jimbo juice. Fucking Jimbo juice.
Jimbo juice.
Gross.
Trombone 981, with hashtag whiskey and wine. Let's talk about what needs to be fixed going forward.
Well, all right, so I don't think this game was an illustration. This is going to be odd to say, probably. I don't know that this game necessarily was an illustration of what needs to be fixed, because this game was an outlier. Like, the only time you got run like this all year was against Tennessee, and I can tell you what the problem was there. Their receivers and quarterback were fucking awesome, and your DBs couldn't run with Jalen Hyatt and Brew McCoy and those dudes. And they didn't even have Cedric Tillman in that game. So, I mean, you're going to have to improve your secondary, but that's not why you lost tonight. I mean, you didn't lose tonight. You lost tonight because they fucking ran the ball for fucking... They ran the ball tonight for 274 yards.
So I think
that's why you lost tonight.
So in terms of things getting fixed going forward,
and I think LSU's run defense all year has been pretty good.
It has been pretty good. That's the most important part about tonight. You shut down Ole Miss. You shut down Arkansas, two of the best rushing teams in the country. And you get out tonight. I think, though, Matt.
Dude, Connor Wegman threw 18 passes.
That's what I'm saying.
He was 12 of 18.
And he started
Christ.
7 of 7. So, like, so 5 of 11 after that. But the point is, Matt, I think if you're looking for things to improve, and this will improve over time with recruiting. God damn, my fucking leg.
What's wrong with your leg?
I don't know, man. Some old man IT band bullshit. Just can't get fucking comfortable. Sciatic nerve bullshit. But I think interior defensive line depth has to be increased, and obviously Mason Smith goes like a mile and a half towards making that better.
No doubt.
I think that at times Jaden Daniels has gotten confused when you drop into coverage.
Yeah.
And I know that there are guys open down the field because I've seen it, like in the Tennessee film, in the Auburn film,
Arkansas.
There were and Arkansas. There were plays to be had, but he was not seeing them. And this is not to say that there's a better option, because again, Jaden Daniels has been fucking fantastic, and he's the whole reason why you are where you are in the first place. But if we're looking for building blocks, things to build upon and improve, at times Jaden Daniels needs to prove that, okay, I can push it down the field into these soft zones. Like I am willing to drop back into 3-man rush and find like a 15-yard crosser that's sitting underneath the safety and over the linebacker. And it's a very tough thing to do, and he has done it at times this year, but he's also gotten stifled at times as well. So, no, I think there are areas of improvement, that a lot of it's going to improve naturally. Like the O-line was really young this year. They were great. They're only going to get better and better. Other building blocks for the future, secondary.
I want to talk.
You want to get increased depth, obviously.
We'll talk about secondary in a second. But with defensive line, I think you mentioned you're going to get you're going to get Mason Smith back, and Mekhi Wingo is a sophomore, so he'll be back for a junior year. The real big questions are, do Roy and Guillory come back?
Yeah.
Because if they do, that's 4 on your interior right there that are a really good rotation. That's before you even talk about Bryce, the freshman from this year, like Bryce Langston and Ty G. Hill, and there's one more Fitzgerald West. So, like, you've got numbers coming behind there as well. So I think they are gonna hit the portal for an edge player, and they have to hit the portal for the secondary, which is the point we can talk about. Like, because you're losing Jarpin Converse, Mekhi Gardner, Colby Richardson, Joe Fouché. So, and then the 2 veteran corners you had, I call them veterans, but Raydarius Jones and Demarius McGee.
Yeah.
Neither of them played this year. Like, I don't. Yeah. There still hasn't been an explanation, but they've like not even been dressed.
Yeah. Not even dressed. Oh yeah.
No. So like you have no experience back at corner next year. Sevyn Banks could return healthy, but you better goddamn well believe like they are going to hit the portal again for starting cornerbacks out of necessity. Like, you hope LaTerrence Welch grows up and maybe is ready to take a role. Maybe you go get a 5-star freshman. I know there's, talk about these kids that, maybe you bring a guy in who can play if you find an Eli Ricks or something like that. But, I mean, that's the
no, so the point of this, there's very clear avenues for improvement in the future. Like, this is a team that has very clear and discernible weaknesses, but that's kind of the deal with this team. They've been playing over their head a bit all year long. It just sucks that you chose to have a game like this against a team that's been playing under their head all year long. Like, you've been overachieving, they've been underachieving, and tonight you allowed the opposite to happen.
You know, and I think also one of the things that Brian Kelly's done very well this year, that I know I've praised him for, is it's been the ability to compartmentalize week to week. Like, you were never too high, you were never too low, not just game to game, but sometimes series to series. Like when they were down 17-3 against Ole Miss, or 17-0 on the road against Auburn. Like,
it's kind of why you kept hope tonight.
Yeah.
You're like, okay,
yeah, we've been there before. Been there before. You know, just they start slow, and then they're a fourth quarter team. They finish strong, and they just didn't. I mean, you got outscored 21-13 in the second half. I mean, so.
Hashtag whiskey and wine. Go Tigers says, bro, did y'all really think we were getting in the playoffs? We were looking to be in the SC championship game. No, but this has nothing to do with the playoff. Like, I don't give a fuck that you lost the playoff. I did not and do not expect you to beat Georgia. Like, Georgia's won 27 regular season games in a row. If you win that game, you're hitting the South Carolina 1 out of 10 jackpot that they hit against Tennessee. Like, I'm happy if you hit that, but I don't care if you hit that. Tonight was not a jackpot. Tonight was a take care of business, do what you are supposed to do. I don't give a fuck about the playoff. You should have moved to 10-2, 7-1 in the SEC tonight, and you failed. So this is not about the playoff. Nothing we are saying has anything to do at all, in the least, with the playoff. This is all about finishing all of the hard work that you did to get to this point and not fucking ruining it Thanksgiving weekend against an A&M team that put up 20 against UMass.
I actually agree with all that.
What?
I do. I agree with all that.
Everything I just said?
I agree with everything you just said.
Not even a single counterpoint?
I would have loved it.
Is this a whiskey and wine first?
No, it's a rarity. It's not altogether unique.
First.
It's not altogether unique,
yeah,
but it is rare.
It's like an LSU deep ball this year.
Yeah.
It's not a first, but it is a rarity.
But the door at least was open. You know, like while the probability might have been low, the door was open. You know, the possibility.
Yes, yeah. You at least had hope.
To talk about.
You had hope. Yeah, it was fun to talk about.
So
you were college football writers and media members' darling because you were the chaos agent that made all of the playoff conversations interesting.
What do you think happens now with the playoff?
Have you given it a thought? I don't even know that I can wrap my head around playoff hypotheticals after today. The only thing that I know is that Alabama has now re-entered the sports book. So you could not get odds on Alabama to win a playoff or a natty game, and now they're back.
So I'm going to disagree.
I'm saying I just can't wrap my head around it right now.
Okay. Yeah. There are betting odds. What I'm telling you is I think Bama has no chance of getting in because if a spot opens via some upset.
It's got to be Ohio State, right?
It'll be Ohio State.
Yeah, got to be.
It'll be Ohio State.
Got to be.
So, now,
by the way, Michigan, that was some big dick shit earlier. That shit was fucking tight.
I won a fuckload of money on Michigan today. It was my best bet of the day.
I didn't win a fuckload. I won, but yeah, no, I didn't. Did you go money line?
No. I was. I took the 8.5, and gobbled that shit up because man, that was like the game a year ago.
Exactly.
Was no fucking fluke. Michigan ran for 300 yards against them.
You want to hear the craziest
stat? Ohio State cannot stop them from running the ball.
You want to hear the craziest stat?
Which is why, if Georgia ends up playing them, they're going to skull fuck them.
So,
like they're anybody.
You know what's crazy?
What's the crazy stat?
Is that in the first half, Michigan had 10 yards rushing. Ohio State had 120. And the second half, that flipped to 250 against 20. And it's obviously because like Ohio State was selling out to stop the run. McCarthy hits the 3 big plays over the top. Ohio State backs off. McCarthy does a great job of feeling out the game, and they start to pop those. And like the core in all of this, and this is where LSU fans should maybe take hope, Matt, Michigan's offensive line is elite. It's a group that's been together, and they're great. They're probably the best group of 5. Maybe not like Ohio State may actually have more guys drafted higher on their O-line, but Michigan's O-line plays like a fucking fist. Like they're all, and honestly, that's where I guess that's where I bring back to LSU. That's where LSU's O-line could be going forward. Because you're returning everybody. And you've got depth. I mean, you saw now is Frazier going to be gone? No, Frazier's still there.
Frazier's
that's what I'm saying. You got Frazier and Delegar back. Charles Turner's going to be back. Marlon Martinez even last week showed that he can play center. Obviously, the freshman tackles, if they remain tackles, which we'll see with Emory Jones.
You're going to lose some of your veterans that are not playing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that the spots LSU is looking in the portal, and they're not going to sign 19 guys out of the portal like they did last year. That was out of necessity. But they're going to have to sign defensive backs. They're going to look for an edge player because you're losing both Gay and Ojolari this year. They're going to look for an edge player. And then they're going to look for some veteran offensive line depth because you're going to lose a lot of those guys who aren't playing. I mean, look, if you just got passed up by 2 true freshmen and a transfer, and then Charles Turner solidified his spot at center, he's back next year as a super senior. Like, bro, I mean, all those guys who you've been here for 2-3 years now and you ain't seen the field, like, you ain't going to see the field. So I think those guys leave and they end up sort of stockpiling some depth, maybe with some veterans.
They should be. They should. So.
And maybe. And you know what I'll tell you also? I think they're going to be They're going to be in the market for is one wide receiver, a stretch the field wide receiver is what they're going to be looking for as well. That's what I've been told.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, they don't really have that right now.
Chris Hilton is that guy. If he comes back healthy and, I mean, had the shoulder surgery and all, but
those throws.
So now I'm seeing this, like, there was a guy who said Jaden better leave. His ceiling is Hobbit-sized. I think that's just fucking stupid.
It's fucking absurd. You're seeing a guy finally in a good situation, man. And you've been hammering this, so I'll let you take it. But
no,
from Arizona State freshman year when he had NFL weapons and he was great, to then the dysfunction that he dealt with the next couple of years. Like, you're seeing the potential that he flashed freshman year, what he can do in a stable situation with actual good athletes. What happens if you give him an even more stable situation with another year on task and potentially even better athletes? Like, it should get even better. So, no, I think that's crazy.
I'll take a quarterback that started 40 fucking games in his career. Give me that guy.
Dude,
in college football, get the fuck out of here, man. And I don't know if Jaden's staying or going. I mean, I've told you 100 times what I was told when Jaden came here and all that sort of stuff. How much as this develops, does that change? We'll see. Does he come back? Does he go? I don't know. Fuck, we'll see. But
and look,
but I would love to have him back next year.
So this is a good point. Yes, they're still going to be in the market for an edge because you're losing both guys. But like Savion Jones slots in one of those slots, right? He's been great this year.
Still need depth.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. No. Like, you still got to go get bodies, no doubt. But like Savion Jones will be one of those 2 guys next year, 100%.
Savion Jones, does Harold Perkins play the jack? Where Ojolari is. Xavier Carter. And you have Quincy Wiggins as well. Who they made the decision to redshirt this year, had a foot injury, played a little bit, but they redshirted him. So the thing that Brian Kelly and his staff did, I think that was I'll put it to you this way. Like the decision to redshirt Derek Davis, who we saw play running back last week, right? He played in 12 games a year ago. And so you made the decision to redshirt him, basically leaving open the option for him to play a 5th year. Most guys that come to LSU aren't coming here with the idea of playing 5 seasons. You know what I mean? Like, if you're good enough to sign with LSU, in your head you're thinking 3 years into the league, maybe 4. You're not thinking 5, right? Nobody's thinking that when they come to LSU.
Yeah, that's probably fair. So, especially not play redshirt late.
That's what I mean.
Play again,
and that's what
redshirt in the beginning kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
But like nobody's thinking, oh, after a couple of years, then I'll redshirt and then I'll come back and play that next year. Yeah, that's fair.
So, I think Brian Kelly's showing you he's trying to and succeeding in convincing some of these guys to stick around and build depth and veteran depth. Experience depth.
Yeah.
Do you need this?
No, I'm good, dude. The fucking ash just dropped all over me.
Oh,
dude.
sorry.
Jesus Christ, dude. It's been that kind of fucking night. I just got Devon A-Chain in my fucking dick. Fuck. Okay, some more comments. Trevor Bittner with the $10 Super Chat says, surprisingly, the tables have turned, it seems, in this game. And the calls seem to mostly favor the Ags. I know Matt has a thing about calls, but oh well, that's why they play the game. Yeah, I don't think calls meant shit.
I don't get what he's saying.
He's just kind of lamenting the refs, but I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that, dude.
The refs.
We got time for that.
You gave up 274 rushing yards.
Like
Shut the fuck up.
that's what I'm saying. Like you can lose, like you can be on the bad end of a couple calls.
Yeah, that happened.
But that doesn't excuse Devon Achane coming in your face for the entire first half.
I mean, bro, we talk about A&M's converting on third downs. Here's A&M's 3rd and 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, early on they were doing
3rd and 7.
They were doing an incredible job of getting to 3rd and manageable, dude, which is good offense. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do.
All of their conversions in the first half were 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 7.
Yeah, exactly. So literally the Wigman scramble, the Wigman scramble 3rd and 7, where Harold Perkins was looping around.
Yes.
And time and time again this year, we've seen him not be picked up on that loop and make the play. Only the guard got him. Like that's the only time that you got.
And then in the second half, they had a 3rd and 9. It was incomplete on the Wingo pressure. 3rd and 4, beautiful pass breakup by Major Burns. Then they didn't face another 3rd down. It was, almost broke it up, but Muhammad came up with the reception. That was a 3rd and 6. They converted a 3rd and 3, and I didn't fucking care about anything after that.
Trombone 981 says, Whiskey and Wine, what do you need to address going into the SEC championship? I think this is a game.
I didn't know Jay Daniels was healthy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly,
Jesus.
right. You got to check your health. But then also, like, it's a classic. You don't really have anything to lose game.
Yeah.
So in terms of addressing, you get together and you say, hey, you know what, boys? Fuck it. You know what you say, Matt? You say one snap and clear. The football fucking golden rule. You fucked up, okay? You dropped the ball. Put everything you have into beating Georgia. Georgia is a demonstrably better team than you in every single way. They are more talented. They've won 27 regular season games in a row. They're the defending national champions. Like it
You're
doesn't.
playing in Atlanta.
Yeah, like there is nothing working in your favor. So in terms of what needs to be addressed, just fucking say fuck it and just go for the win. And if you're Jaden Daniels, maybe that means taking more shots early on. If you're the defense, maybe that means a bit of refocusing. What happens if that excellent Georgia offensive line comes around and starts to push us around? How are we going to adjust? Like, I'm not saying that there aren't, like, things to be changed or made, but I don't know that an attitude adjustment is going to make the difference in the Georgia game. You're going to have to play way over your head anyway to win that game.
So, specifically with Georgia, look at this play. Go ahead,
Penix! Apple Cup! Let's go!
Bro, that was a double pass.
I didn't even see it.
Penix threw it to the receiver on the right side. They threw it back to Penix, and he scored.
That's why they called the Apple Cup, Matt.
Is that why?
Double passes. That's exactly why.
I don't think that's why they called it.
It's like Johnny Appleseed back in the day throwing apple seeds to his fucking homie and him planting them in the ground.
Nope. That's not.
Apple Cup! Fuck Pullman. I fucking have always hated Pullman, Washington. Actually, that's not true. I like Pullman, and I like Wazoo.
Have you been there?
No, but I had a best friend from there.
Okay.
I got more questions.
So with Georgia, bro, I think Georgia can get got. Like, they're not the – so when I tweeted this earlier, so if someone saw the tweet, when Georgia plays their best, I think they are undeniably the best team in the country.
Yeah.
When they play their best.
Yeah.
And we've seen them play their best a couple times. They did it against Oregon. They did it against Tennessee. I think they blew out Vanderbilt as well, but really most of the SEC East was not very good this year. But I have watched Georgia a lot this year. Look, the first half today against Georgia Tech, who has an interim coach and
went up 7-0.
And even beyond that, it was like Georgia Tech scored again. After that, it was a one-score game at half. Like, the Kentucky game was lethargic. They should have lost to Missouri, quite honestly.
No, they should have, but the problem is it's
the
27 regular season wins in a row.
They know how to
that's
win.
A team that is bored.
They know how to win. They play with their food. That's been the expression I've used. Georgia plays with their food. They're bored. But they're a team, though, that
Georgia's
lost.
a dude who's like,
maybe getting in like a fucking bar fight with him, and you think you stole a couple good ones on him, and then he does the classic like, and he like wipes the blood off his mouth, and he's like, oh, okay, and then he fucking comes back and he just beats the fuck out of you.
Probably. One of the greatest MMA fighters ever was Anderson Silva, and he used to do shit like that. Like he had won so many fights in a row, he would just like drop his hands and fucking play, and then he would just like, there's this amazing knockout where he does this, his hands are down, he goes like, and he goes boom, it just drops.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
But when Anderson Silva finally lost, he was fighting Chris Weidman, who was 10-0, a relative newbie, but was good in that he was upcoming. And Anderson Silva did that. He had his hands down, and Weidman fucking clipped him. Weidman clipped him and sleeped him.
Can you clip Georgia?
And so
probably not in Atlanta.
So you know what happened?
Probably not after 2019.
So you know what happened? They fought a rematch. Naturally, right? The champion gets
Silva beat the fuck out of him?
No.
Oh.
Silva went to kick Weidman, who leg checked him, and Silva fucking snapped his leg in half.
Oh, I remember that. That was so gross.
Yes,
too.
It was gross. And Silva's career was basically over after that.
If only you could snap one player's leg and stop Georgia, that would be so much better. Like if we could just snap one player's leg on Georgia and win the game.
We don't need to snap the leg. What we need is them to have Georgia to have their hands down and to get clipped on the fucking chin.
No, you know we need, Matt? We need Ed Ogeron. Nobody was better at beating the fuck out of Kirby Smart.
Okay, fair.
Ed Ogeron, dude.
Fair.
Ed Ogeron was a beast at beating the fuck out of Kirby, dude. Call him in. Call him in. Let's go. 17 milli from the buyout. Put him on the sideline.
You know what?
Bring him in, a little consultation.
Let's fucking go. Let's do it.
It's like, watch Kirby. If halfway through the first quarter you hit Ed Ogeron's music, you play that Zydeco, and he fucking comes out the tunnel, watch Kirby Smart fucking panic. He'll lose his Edo jogs out shirtless, throwing up the L's. Kirby will fucking shit himself, dude. He'll be thinking about 2018. He'll be thinking about 2019. He'll fucking shit himself, dude.
Those are fun games.
Those are fun games. I hope next week is as fun. David Riley says, T-Bob, when the season over, can we go to Arizona Desert and eat acid and drink and smoke? Yeah, I'm not closed off to the idea for sure.
You'll also have a newborn at the house.
Yeah, that's true. I probably shouldn't be eating acid in the desert. That's my problem, is that my natural inclination is to do that, but I've had to temper that due to my family. I was telling somebody earlier tonight, if I didn't have a family, I would probably already be dead. So, shout out to my family. Noah Lejeune, hashtag whiskey and wine.
You're like Frank the Tank. Good for you, Mitch. I'd be lying face down in the gutter. Probably dead.
Yes, except that Frank, as Joe Tessitore would say, me and Frank both entered the same fork in the woods, and I took the road more traveled where I decided to get it together for my family. Frank the Tank in old school said, fuck it, I'm going to be a frat house fucking rush leader.
I feel like you only brought up Joe Test to
what?
me.
No, Joe Test, dude. Look, Devon A-Chain went to the woods because he wished to live deliberately, and he has deliberately run the ball all night tonight. A story of overcoming adversity, a story of triumph. Greg, I've never seen anything like it. Devon A-Chain and the effort he has showed tonight is reminiscent of Herman Melville when he was hunting down Moby Dick. Matt hates Joe Tessitore.
I want to be very clear about something. I don't hate Joe Tessitore.
You hate his casting style.
I think Joe Tessitore is a very pleasant man. Met him. I've interviewed him.
Boxing guy.
He's actually wonderful as a.
And admittedly, boxing is like a way more narrative sport.
Yes, he's wonderful calling boxing. Joe Tessitore, to steal a line from my dear friend Richard Condon, gives me the drizzling shits listening to him call a football game. I would rather.
What doesn't give Condon the drizzling shits?
I don't know. That's what he would say.
Condon sees one Yeah. Okay, sorry.
It's not about that. It's just I'm stealing his phrase.
Yeah.
Look, man, and Joe Tessitore, I get it. He works for ESPN. He's called a lot of big games. He was Monday Night Football guy. He's way more successful than me, and that's not even about that. Congrats to him on a great career. Super nice guy. stylistically, every fucking play is a goddamn piece of poetry.
It feels
shut
awful.
Shut the fuck up. Just fucking shut the fuck up. Let the it's fucking TV. Let the goddamn fucking game call itself. Wow. That was a beautiful pass.
That was a crazy catch right there in the Apple Cup. But no, I feel you, dude. It's a narrative style that I actually like, and is a lot like mine because I can be overly verbose and dramatic. But it really doesn't play when your team is losing. Like I know that you don't care if you're winning or losing, but it does drive home the anger when you're already like fucking falling flat on your face.
I was sitting in this chair and I fucking snapped. I know. in the fourth quarter. I think everybody around, because I'm normally watching the game like head down, got the live stats. I'm charting the game. I'm watching. Everyone's talking, and like giving their analysis to every fucking play and everything. And I'm like not saying much. And I like when he started on that fucking bullshit, I just blew. I think everybody in the whole place just kind of got quiet because I blew up.
Fuck Georgia!
Oh, he didn't drop. Oh, dude, it hit the ground. That's not a catch. That's a bummer for that guy.
Them drizzling shits. Noah Lejeune says, # whiskey and wine. If we manage to beat Georgia, which bowl game do we land in?
Sugar Bowl. You're the SEC champion. You're the SEC champion, probably playing Kansas State.
Hell yeah.
So we can go through that scenario. So, like, let's assume, because I asked you the playoff thing earlier. So let's assume, all right, if LSU beats Georgia, and we assume TCU beats Kansas State.
Oh, wait, so Kansas State beat Kansas tonight?
Yes. Let me get the final on that. But they were comfortably ahead. So TCU and Kansas State will play for the Big 12 championship. If TCU wins, they're obviously in the playoff. Kansas State would play. If LSU beats Georgia, I think Georgia's still in. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so Michigan would be number 1, or TCU would be number 1.
Yeah.
Michigan, TCU would be 1-2. Georgia would be in, and if Southern Cal wins next week,
they'll be in.
Against presumably Washington, if Washington wins this game, they'll be in. And then if LSU were to beat Georgia, LSU would go to the SEC championship and play Kansas State, which would be so fucking.
I would love to fuck up Deuce Vaughn and company, bitch.
Oh, my God, after last year.
Catch these fucking hands, Kansas State.
Kansas State won 47-27.
Rogue Joker X in the chat's a little bitch. And he says, Bama's now ahead of us. It feels like everything's right in the world, LOL. Fuck you, Rogue Joker. Suck my fucking nuts, you little bitch. Fuck Alabama and fuck you, too.
But this is the really tough part, though, because now with this loss today, you've cost yourself a shot at a New Year's Six. You cost yourself a shot at Sugar Bowl, Orange Bowl, unless you beat Georgia.
Well, and you've given all the anti-Brian Kelly can't win the big game. You've given them all ammunition. That's
he beat Bama this year. Come on.
No. I know, but that's what. Okay, let me finish. I was going to say it's an attack angle that is irrational, but they now feel empowered to say so.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Maybe. Yeah. Fuck them. Whatever. Notre Dame's 8-4. Fuck you. Like, whatever. So
shout out Capital Partners.
Your boy Marcus Freeman inherited a team that was preseason 5 in the country.
Yeah.
And went 8-4. Brian Keller inherited a team that in consecutive years went 500, was one game under 500, and won the SEC West in year 1, beat Alabama. So that's not even a fucking conversation.
Lamar Stevens, $5 super chat. Every time T-Bow says amalgamous blob, he's describing my Thanksgiving Day plate, which is an amalgamation of every single Thanksgiving ingredient just mixed into one with gravy drizzled over the entire top. Yeah.
You just throw everything in there together?
Everything in there.
Oh,
I mix it up.
Separate.
No, I mix it up in one giant slop, and then I throw delicious gravy over the top. Even the cranberry gets in there.
No.
I throw it all in there, dude. And then
Fuck
even today, I took all the leftovers, and I mixed them up again, and I put them on a sandwich, and I threw fucking Japanese mayonnaise on top of it because I don't give a fuck, okay? Yeah, I'll go amalgamize all the shit I want. Dylan Meadows, $10 super chat says.
Shout out, Dylan. What's up, bro?
Yeah, Dylan's great people, dude. Gonna give Jimbo and the young guys props. They could have easily quit. Sucks,
no,
but
fuck
still
you,
a solid 9-3. Go Tigers. No, but he's right, man. It sucks. It sucks.
But then he gave Jimbo props.
No, I know.
I get it.
But he tried to close it with a solid 9-3, and I feel you, dude. But it fucking sucks, dude. Like, But
You know what's so weird?
They didn't
All right,
need it, dude. They didn't deserve it.
All right, I want to say real quick. So, before the season, what was your prediction for the season?
8-4, 4-4 in the
8-4.
SEC.
Me too. But I said LSU's ceiling was 9, their floor was 7. I picked in the middle and had them 8-4. But I thought they were going to get to 10, man. And they fucking landed at 9.
Exactly, and you never get to 10. 10-win regular seasons are incredibly fucking rare. They just don't happen. And they don't happen because of shit like tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Hard to
never
do.
forget, dude, it's fucking hard to win football games. We accept it on the NFL level, Matt, but we don't tend to accept it as much on the college level.
And the weird
it's
thing about
it's
that,
what
too,
leads
is
us to conversations about, like, well, this team would beat this team, obviously, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, maybe, but I don't know. Nobody would have had fucking A&M putting it together and beating the fuck out of LSU tonight. Nobody would have had Spencer Rattler in South Carolina rounding off consecutive wins against Tennessee and Clemson. Like, maybe, but you just don't know. Like, yes, this is not the NFL. It's not as hard, but it's still fucking madness.
Well, you have a very clear gap between, like, the Power 5, Group of 5, FCS. There are obvious tiers. In the NFL, everybody's a fucking professional football player. Like, everybody can win on a given Sunday. That's why the adage exists. All right, so we're going to be in Georgia next week. We'll be in Atlanta. T-Bob will not, as he'll be a dad times 3 on Friday. We're excited about that.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference? Do you want boy or girl?
No. Don't
Are you
give
lying?
a fuck, dude. No. I swear to God. I really don't give a fuck. It's been a weird year for births around me, and literally all I give a fuck about is that mom and baby are healthy. That is, like, literally all that matters.
And
so
that's the right answer.
yeah, and so we'll see. And I know that's cliche, but guess what? Fucking cliches are rooted in truth, okay? So, at 6 days from now, at about 5:30 a.m., I'll be on the verge of having a new child.
You're sitting next to a guy who had a very, very unhealthy baby. So,
Yeah,
yes.
you had to deal with some crazy...
When people say, or they're bummed, and I get perspective is what it is, but when people are bummed about it, no. Just, you want
who gives a fuck?
you want a healthy child, bro. So
Exactly,
that is the right answer.
exactly.
All right, we're less than a minute away.
We got a $5 super chat from Hudson Jeter. Says, I would rather have my nutsack nibbled on by a crawfish than listen to Joe Test call a football game.
Hudson Jeter and I. Hudson Jeter, I'll roll with you, bro. Big shout out to Don Juan Cigar Bar for hosting us all year. They've been awesome, man. We're so grateful for them. Big thanks to MICHELLI Weighing and Measurement, Joel McMullen, the gang over at MICHELLI. Awesome people, great Louisiana company, been around for 75 years, MICHELLI.com. Go ahead, tell Capital.
Shout out to Capital Partners, dude, your local lobbying firm, America's best lobbying firm, right here in Baton Rouge, Matt. Unbelievable. America's best lobbying firm be right here in Baton Rouge. Capital Partners. Look, whether you're looking for new media strategies, government affairs, political